Welcome to the Podcaster, the home of podcaster builders. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the seventh episode of the Podcaster. Today, we're joined by Sinaber from Payflow. First of all, thank you so much, Sinaber, for joining us. And I wonder if you can start maybe with a quick introduction to Payflow.
Sure. Hey guys. So Payflow is a progressive web application which is integrated into on-chain socials and facilitates payments between the users.
Cool. And I wonder, what sort of problem are you trying to solve with Payflow?
It's an interesting question because I think today there's definitely a development in the new socials which allow you to exchange value in different ways, right? But then the actual number of users we have is very small. So we don't know yet what problem we are solving. But I think overall, I anticipate that there will be more on-chain socials, and each of them will have kind of identity on a blockchain. And then the problem would be like, hey, I have value here and I want to use it there, and how does it work? So this is specific problem I'm solving right now. But what will be specifics, like whether it's only peer-to-peer or some other use cases, that's I think the time will tell.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I would love for you to explain how Payflow looks like today.
So today, as I mentioned, it's a PWA, and then you log in. You log in with your identity, which is Ethereum wallet. And then if you have Farcaster linked to that wallet, you can log in with Farcaster. But the main entry point is your identity wallet. And then once you log in, you get contacts pulled from the social graph, which you can use and send funds and so on. But then this is just the app. But then there are more things into integration into socials direct. And currently, I'm more focused on Farcaster because Farcaster, I would say, provides a very clear path to development integration. And Payflow is one of the payment providers on Webcast. There's like a pay button. Outside of the cast action, compose actions, and so on. So this is what it looks like. You can pay within the Farcaster, which supports frame transactions, but then you can also redirect and reopen it in the Payflow app. This is so cool because Webcast doesn't support like all chains, or more sophisticated type of payments like cross-chain payments and so on. And then on a Payflow, I can do that. So you do some action, and then you add intent. I called it a payment intent, and then it could be a peer-to-peer payment. It could be buying storage, and something I recently working on like mints. So like you can do the cross-chain payments and all those kind of things.
That's super cool. I think that like in crypto, we've seen a bunch of companies build like Venmo-like projects, and I think essentially most of them failed because it was like, I guess, like very complicated to compete with Venmo. I think that Payflow has like a completely different approach by the fact that you're like leveraging Forecaster's social graph, and I definitely see myself transfer. Like I don't even need to ask what's your address to someone I want to transfer money to. I simply will go to his Forecaster's profile and simply use like I will simply leverage the fact that he connected his wallet to it and transfer him money. And I think it's like extremely interesting. Like it's probably one of the most interesting use cases for like using Forecaster's social graph to build something cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Right now, Payflow is essentially the place you go to if you want to transfer money to another Farcaster user. I wonder, how do you imagine Payflow will look like a few years from now? I know like this is like very complicated because like Farcaster is just starting, Payflow is just starting, but like what do you envision out of it?
It's interesting because, as I mentioned, we don't know the problem we are solving yet. Like whoever tells you like what's your like product market fit, whatever, I was like, yeah, we are so small. And I think it just depends on how bullish you are on socials, and I'm bullish on. And then in future, we are not talking only about Farcaster. Farcaster is just someone who dares all other socials saying, hey, we can do socials different way. And then at some point, Meta, Instagram, Telegram is already doing that, besides the recent news, but still. And then everyone will go there, even Twitter. And my understanding is that, hey, there's a super on-chain social payment app, which is called Payflow. And then it's integrated across Twitter, Telegram, Lens, Farcaster, and whatever. And then you can exchange the value you have on different platforms between each other. And then you have aggregated contacts, all the information you need, and it works smoothly. It works as a separate app, not only PWA, but definitely there should be a native app, but then also within those socials. So like simple things you can do there, but then you can always do almost the same thing in the app as well.
So you think that essentially the biggest feature would be the fact that you're like connected to all the major social networks out there. Like right now it's mostly I don't know if like right now do you support other social media apart from Farcaster?
So I don't I would, to be honest, if I had more resources and I'm building myself. But then if you look into Farcaster gives you this clear path for experiments and a lot of new things which will lay out how other socials will work is basically done in Farcaster. So it doesn't make sense for me to spend any time. I mean, it still shows like you can search the user by lens, and then there will be lens information, but I don't want to spend time on that because there's not much happening there yet, and most of the things are happening on Farcaster, and I think that's why I'm. But as soon as there's a clear path on other socials, yes, it's much easier to project what you already did in Farcaster.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would love for you to explain what excites you about Farcaster. Like, why did you decide to build on Farcaster? Like, why are you bullish on it?
I'm bullish for again, I think it was a big right decision by Dan and Varun to focus more on developers. So I join every 2 weeks. There are calls, I can ask question, and sometimes I can even give input and ask for specific features. Like again, they have a big backlog of features, but then sometimes it gets done, and that opens a lot of opportunity. So the fact that you can contribute and be part of the whole process and making the payments easier on Farcaster, that the biggest thing. I mean, obviously there's a distribution, like it's a more like crypto native, like it does things better. But I think that's more like, like the features and stuff. But then I think the most important thing is that you can there's a clearer path to integration, and that like they will not stop, they will continue building, and there will be new experiments, new features, and then at some point they will get to the point that you could do almost everything with payments in the socials.
So I would love, Sinaver, for you to explain how are you planning to onboard users into Payflow? Like, how does your strategy look like for that?
So previously, and I'll just explain you how I did before, and then how I changing the way I'm doing now. Before it was like, hey, this is the link, you register, you sign up, and do whatever, right? You need to sign up with your Ethereum wallet, right? But then I think in future users will not have Ethereum wallet by default. And then if I concentrate on socials, I need to create some mechanism of, like create wallet, then go sign up on Farcaster or other things and so on. So this problem still stays there, but I'm not yet solving it. But I'm trying to solve now the problem that the user doesn't have to go to the app and sign up there. So what I do now is that when user uses Payflow frame, and then whenever the user gets to the point where the data needs to be now stateful, so you need to save some information. Let's say you initiated a payment, right? And then now I'm automatically creating a profile for the user, so user doesn't have to sign up and so on. And then user can proceed. And then whenever user opens the app, like payments and wants to complete it, that also is already done. I think the only piece is left is you need to kind of create a session, like a short-lived session or something that will, like you directly redirect, open, and then you already sign in. So sign up is done, but the sign in is still pending. But that requires more like security thing, how you want to do and that. So like basically the streamlining and automating the process of using my product for existing users in Farcaster. And I think that's number one. And number two is that how to make it so that users who are not on Farcaster, like maybe they log in with Lens. I'll just give an example, right? Or like just Ethereum. And then they have some process either to auto create Farcaster account, pay for that with any token within the Payflow app, and then boom, you already have a profile. So this is something like, but I think the step 2 is more complicated, and we don't know how it will roll out in future. So I'm not prioritizing that yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I would love for you to explain what sort of like challenges have you faced while building Payflow.
I mean, the main challenges is, so here, hear me out. I have mostly cybersecurity experience working in some other companies, end-to-end encryption stuff. So I know good understanding about security, building backend and so on. But I'm front end zero. Like I started developing front end in beginning of 2023, like almost from the zero. Although I've been like overseeing like projects where there was a front end. So I think like it's more like just a simple things to do, and I spend a lot of time on that. Number one, number two, the crypto. With the same time I started my journey into Web3, so like blockchain stuff, and I would say although I cannot solve technically some problems, but I think a lot of problems are not solved by anyone yet. So there's some chunks, some pieces like Coinbase Smart Wallet makes it easy. So you create a wallet, and then whenever you change a smart wallet, like configurations, whatever, it's propagated across multiple chains. Then they have a passkey, but that passkey doesn't work across all devices. So you're like, I mean, and then there's a bunch of other problems. So I'm facing the same problems all the other people have. So I'm not trying to focus on those challenges. But I think the real challenge I find is that how to aggregate all those identities together. I think that's and what happens when, like I don't know, you change the wallet, you unlink a wallet from Farcaster, and then all these kind of things, all those conflicts. Do you migrate existing wallet you created to a new profile, or you let it? So there's a lot of things, uncertainties which I just experiment and see how it works out based on user feedback.
Cool. And you just mentioned some background about cybersecurity. We went straight into the product, so I didn't fully ask you what's your background. What led you into building Payflow?
Okay, so yeah, my background, been working for around 10, 12, don't remember exactly, mostly in cybersecurity related projects, being engineering manager on end-to-end encryption protocols, like solutions, not protocol, but more like solutions like Signal, Proton Mail, and so on. But that, I wouldn't say that something which led me to crypto. I was a bit skeptical about crypto in general. And then it's like till the moment I realized, hey, there's the two parts, like there's a casino, there's like actual new technology. And whenever I realized the second part, I was like, I don't want to be too late into technology, and I was like, I would rather jump. And I left my company. It was during the start of the full invasion, unfortunately, of Ukraine, but wasn't the right timing. But I left, took some time off, and then started the journey. That was one part. And I think the second part, in Ukraine, we have a bank called Monobank. I would say, like, it's the best app I used. Like, I'm based currently in Turkey for the summer, but I'm in UAE based in UE. And like in UE, you have all the money, but the experience is not as good as Ukrainian fintech app is called Monobank. And what I like about that, they have this feature of jars. So you can create a virtual card to collect contributions for anything. And that was very important during the start of full-scale invasion by Russia, because people actually donated a lot of money to buy a lot of things to protect the country. And like that was like, why don't we have this in crypto? And and I was actually quite surprised, but then I realized then it's like the crypto thing, the contribution jar is just one feature, but there's much more. And then if you want to create something, you want to create it with socials, because like no one, I mean, existing identities will not use it. Like, so you need to make it happen for something new, and the socials are something new in Web3.
We're reaching the end of the episode. So I would love for you, Sinaver, to just give us some alpha about like what sort of features are you planning to launch for Payflow?
I mean, the long-term thing, I mean, I really want to enable automated payments. So currently, when you initiate a payment with a Payflow, with a Farcaster frame, right? Like you submit a payment intent, which is already saved, and you can open in the app. So you can pay in the frame or you can pay in the app. But I would really love to automate this process where you can say, hey, and I call this Payflow balance. In a Payflow, it's a separate wallet. And I wanted to have like, hey, I have $10 overall value I can spend, automatically. So as long as this value is less than that, this intent could be, like auto paid. So user doesn't have to click anything. So this is some kind of, but there's a lot of, like there's a lot of things why I'm not doing yet. And it doesn't make sense to spend time yet. This is like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 month horizon. I don't know. I really want to do that. And for any payments. So it's like, but then the short term I'm doing is last week I introduced cross-chain payments. So now when you submit a payment with one token, you open the app, and then you select one of the, I call them not wallets, but payment flows, basically your source of value. Like if one of them, like your Farcaster verified address doesn't have the balance to pay, or Payflow balance doesn't have it. So it gives you an option to pay with a different token, and then you can select different token and pay for that. This was last week. This week, I'm working on adding cross-chain mints. And this is something I haven't seen in Farcaster yet, but a lot of people saying like, hey, different NFT providers don't allow you to mint with any token. So they have either Ethereum, either this, that, and Farcaster is more focused on about, specific community tokens, and those providers will never add them, most probably, And so what I'm creating a cast action, which you can apply on any cast where you have mentioned mint, and then it will analyze it. It will say, hey, this is the mint I analyzed. And then like you will have a button to mint, or submit a mint. You submit a mint, and this is a mint intent submitted to the app. You open the app, and now you can choose any Farcaster verified wallets you want to mint it to, number one, and number two, you can pay with any token. And this is like, it will be, I think the first version this week, I hope it will be Zora and Rodeo Club. And then like maybe next week add highlights and maybe some other providers, plus allowing to give NFT. So you can not only mint NFT for yourself, you can mint NFT with a cross-chain payments for any users in your Payflow context.
Super cool, super exciting. So I really appreciate Sinaver your time. It was great to chat with you and learn more about Payflow. I encourage everyone to try out Payflow, and yeah, it was great. Thank you so much, Sinaver.
Yeah, thanks, Sebastian. If you guys have any question about Payflow, you can contact me on Farcaster. It's sinaver.eth.
Great. Bye bye.